All right, we are live. My name is Patrick Nolan. This is Pat Talks Law, live edition, the Saturday live show. Now, we're going to talk about a few things today as soon as we get some people on board. And just for the very brief time filler here, what I'd like to say that we're going to be chatting about today is law, business, and just general life, man. Things are really screwed up at the moment. So we got a couple people on. First, the law right now is totally confused. Okay. We can't get into court to do anything. Missouri courts are shut down until at least April 17th. Some things are able to be done via telephone, and lawyers can be effective that way, working through teleconferences. In my office, we are set up clearly for video. I mean, I can do video conferencing from my desk and work on things. Many other attorneys are equipped for that, even if they have to use their cell phone. So there's a lot there that can be done, and that is awesome. But things have really slowed down. We've got a number of civil cases that are just getting kicked out. I've got a couple of criminal cases that are just getting kicked out. Fortunately, we've kept my guy out of jail, so that's a plus. But his case is not being resolved as quickly or as promptly as he would have hoped. Now, unless you're living under a rock, you know that the coronavirus, shouldn't have said that. You know that the stimulus package has been passed. The stimulus package includes a lot of handouts to a lot of people. So let's talk about what that means for you, because this is one of the biggest things that we can look at. If you have not heard, if you own a business, the stimulus package is giving you a gift. There's a $10,000 grant encompassed in that. All you have to do is fill out the forms. Okay. Because of the way that we structure things in my family, I mean, I own my law firm. However, I also have a rental company because we have rental property, and we structure those in our property management LLC. So those are structured a little bit differently, but it's a separate company. Now, I don't know how they're going to work this or how that's going to go, but what I'm expecting, what I'm hoping is that there's going to be that grant available for each of those businesses, which means when we turn in the paperwork to the SBA, and there's a fair bit of paperwork, we can run through what that is in just a moment. But when we turn that paperwork into the SBA, that money may come to both of those businesses. I don't know. They might only give it to one entity. I don't know. But if you have a business in Missouri's budding medical marijuana industry that has taken a hit because of this, and let's be honest, the businesses that you should be looking at we're not talking about the dispensaries and the cultivation facilities. I'm talking about the caregivers, about the supply stores, supply companies, about all of the businesses surrounding the industry. Okay, if you own a company and you are supplying home hydro equipment, okay, so that people are able to grow things hydroponically at home, then your business, if you have been affected by the emergency, by the situation, you could very well be eligible for not only the grant money, but a loan from the SBA to help you get through this difficult portion of time. That could be a lifesaver for a number of small business owners. And it's the things that you don't even think about. the guy that does the windows and the office has the office cleaning contract for my office has shut down most of his business. He shut it down because businesses have largely shut down and they're not paying for window washing right now. It means that the environment is looking pretty horrible. Okay, this program that the SBA has right now was going to be a big help for him. Now, that's a couple of topics, and if you have questions, please, say hi, drop a comment, drop a question. Other issues of law for the situation that are interesting. In Nevada, there's been a filing in federal court suing China for causing this situation and not taking adequate precautions and not telling people what is happening with that. Now, I'm not going to go in and do a recitation, but let me just say that Leonard French, who is on YouTube, is a phenomenal lawyer. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal lawyer. I don't know him as a lawyer, but as a YouTube lawyer, he explains things very well. And he's got a discussion about the lawsuit on that virus on his channel. I will drop a link to that and his channel. I would encourage you to watch that if you're interested in it. Personally, I think that is a piece of legislation or a piece of lawsuit that's probably not going to go far. Peace might be the description. Now, I'm not saying it's bad lawyering. It's excellent and all that, but what are they going to do with it? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. What are you going to do with that lawsuit? Let's assume you win your lawsuit against China. Now what? You have to go through the State Department to attempt to seize Chinese assets in America. And the State Department is going to say, we owe China $15 trillion. Screw you. So you've got a lawsuit that you're probably never actually going to see a return on. But it looks good on the resume. One of the things you have to counsel people on as a lawyer is when it's not in their interest to go to court. You might have been wronged, you might have been damaged, but it still may not be in your interest. I mean, why would you spend $15,000 suing somebody for $5,000 that doesn't have any money? It doesn't make any sense. So sometimes as a lawyer, we have to advise people that the best course of action for them is take no action, which is kind of also a situation with the situation we have. Okay, sometimes the best course of action is to take no action. Unfortunately, our government thrives on taking action, whether there's one called for or not. So there has been a lawsuit that was filed in Pennsylvania, in the Pennsylvania courts, that was challenging the Pennsylvania governor's shutdown order. It said this is unconstitutional. You can't do this, and you can't shut down law firms. You can't shut down gun stores. You've overstepped your bounds. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court responded by saying that the argument was dismissed as moot and all other aspects denied. This is part of what we had talked about a little bit last time in previous videos, is understand that while there is an overstepping, I think, going on in the government in their restraints, I mean, really, what good are constitutional rights if they take them away anytime they deem there's emergency? That to me is inappropriate, and that is likely probably inappropriate to most of you that watch. At the moment, all three of you. So hi to the three of you that are currently online. Now, what does that mean when we talk about your constitutional rights and an overstepping? Last time we had a big overstepping of constitutional rights to the point that this situation looks like. I mean, we're really going back a long ways. we're going back to New Deal legislation or to Abraham Lincoln. And the New Deal legislation that came out and, put people to work and funded all the work projects, and told people that they could no longer grow wheat for their own consumption on their own farm. Yeah. And the argument was, and that was the aggregation argument, which really, really just, it pulls them because I can't stand it. I believe it was Wickard v. Filborn. If I'm wrong, one of you is going to correct me and make the lawyer look like an idiot. So, go ahead. The idea that you're growing food for your family on your farm affects interstate commerce is, I think, a reach. But it's a reach our courts have adopted and used now for 80 years, more than 80 years, and it's not going away. Again, practicing law is understanding what the law is as opposed to what we wish it would be. So, as for me and my family, we're social distancing. We don't have a choice. It sucks, quite frankly. I've had 3 kids at home and in the office for 2 weeks that are we're doing their schoolwork. The school is sending home more work than they do when they're in session. And quite frankly, it's a scary thing because we don't have time. I don't have time to force this 11-year-old to sit down and do his schoolwork. I'm trying to keep my business afloat, trying to keep, my employees employed and paid. I'd like to keep getting paid myself too. So we don't really have time to put the effort we need to into the teaching. And we're doing it, but it's not where I would like that to be. So I'm going to start talking about what's in this stimulus package and the SBA relief so that, we can at least discuss the financial points. And I'll mark this at 12:40 for people that come in after. There is approximately $377 billion in small business administration relief that's going to be available to small business as a result of the CARE Act. The CARE Act has been signed by President Trump. It provides loan forgiveness grants to small business and nonprofits to maintain the existing workforce and help pay other expenses like rent, mortgage, and utilities. So they're giving you a loan, or you can get a loan, $10,000 to a factor of 2.5 times the monthly expense. So if your monthly expenses are $12,000, you could well be looking at a $30,000 loan. Up $10,000 immediate relief. So, and these are forgivable grants, forgivable loans. So a forgivable loan means if you're using it the way you're supposed to use it, it may be eligible to be forgiven, which means it's not going to cost you anything. You don't have to pay it back. For a business owner, that means I have the potential, and I use $12,000 because my monthly operating costs, my fixed expenses are between $12,000 and $14,000 a month. At that rate, what I'm going to need under that program, I'm looking at $30,000 loan, which is why I say $30,000. Yes, it costs me $12,000 a month to operate my business, and those are the fixed costs. That doesn't include the incidentals that go up. Excuse me. Spring is the worst time to be having a situation because spring in Missouri means everybody coughs. So I don't have the illness, but my sinuses are going crazy on me, so I'm coughing. Now, that grant loan and grant program can be used to subsidize 6 months of payments for the small business with existing SBA loans. Now, the eligibility is small business, 501c3 nonprofits, 501c19 veterans organizations, tribal businesses, sole proprietorships, independent contractors, and self-employed people are eligible. Typically, the SBA determines eligibility by measuring a small business's affiliates, but they waive the affiliation rules for businesses in hospitality and restaurant industries. So if you own a restaurant, you're going to have access to money that you might typically not be able to get. Okay. Franchises that are approved under their franchise directory are going to be eligible, and other small businesses that have financing through the SBIC, that's Small Business Investment Company. If you don't know what that is, that's an entirely different area. We could talk about that at some point. My audience doesn't tend to be that interested in that area, but we can definitely talk about business. One of the aspects that we are working on at my firm is really opening a small business branch of our practice and focusing on small business law. And this grows out of our work with medical marijuana. A lot of the people that wanted licenses and sought licenses for medical marijuana, cultivation dispensaries and such, still have a lot of connections and are wanting to build businesses within that industry. And there are a lot of business opportunities within that industry, be it a supply company, be it a management company. You know, remember, during the gold rush, the people that made the money really weren't the miners. It was the tradespeople. It was the shopkeepers. You know, in this case, it's going to be the supply stores, the construction people, the welders, the plumbers, the electricians. You know, it's going to be all the industries surrounding the industry, and they're all going to make a shit ton of money. Hopefully YouTube doesn't hit me for that, but that is a fact. That's where a lot of money is going to come in. It's going to be those small businesses on the periphery. And given the problems that we're having actually getting the medical marijuana up and running, we have a large component of Missourians that have gotten into home cultivation. And those home cultivators are all buying supplies, seeking information. They are purchasing cultivation supplies, chemicals that they're growing hydroponically, fertilizers, grow lights. Okay. They're buying all of this, and they're doing it under Missouri law, but that's going to drive those small businesses and those businesses that provide those materials. And we haven't even gotten to the consumption side yet. Okay, and once you get to the consumption side, then you have the people that are supplying pipes, they're supplying baking goods, they're supplying everything for the delivery of the medical marijuana to the consumer. All of those businesses, be it the manufacturers and the wholesalers to the retailers providing to the patients, all of those businesses are viable opportunities for small business people within the medical marijuana industry. Okay, all of those are entities that are going to need to know how to set up their business, how to run it legally. So we're spinning up the small business arm of our practice to assist those people in setting up their small businesses. But of course, we're not limiting it to medical marijuana. We're going full bore and broad on that. And the essence of that is what we are doing is we are providing the service of what you need to get your corporate paperwork, whether you're going for an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, sole proprietorship, how to get set up, how to get all your trade name registered, how to get everything that you need to open your business. And We're doing that because I see a lot of people that have been put out of work by the situation we're in. There's going to be a lot of hobby businesses that are going to start taking off. People are going to be pushing and going in that route, and that's where quite frankly we need to be, and the SBA needs to be. The SBA is here for a reason. So there's a lot of funding out there for small businesses. Now, loan proceeds from these emergency loans, the EIDC loans, EIDL, excuse me, economic injury disaster loans, are there for the purpose of helping pick up the slack of what was caused during this emergency. You have to agree to use those funds to keep workers, to make your payroll, pay your lease, your utilities. Okay, you can't receive duplicative funds for the same uses from another SBA program. And that's where I'm wondering if, because we own two businesses, we won't qualify for both of them. Although each business is a separate entity. So we have to look into that. Now, there's no collateral or personal guarantees required. Okay, these are non-recourse loans. What that means is, frankly, they're either going to forgive them or the government's going to wind up eating them when people don't pay. So most of the loans made will be eligible for loan forgiveness. The borrower has to apply for forgiveness with the lender directly. The amount forgiven is based upon a formula taking into consideration employee retention, amount spent by the borrower on eligible payroll costs, mortgage interest payments, rent payments, utility payments during a specific period of time. Any amounts forgiven are not taxable to the borrower's gross income. Any loan amounts not forgiven at the end of 1 year must be paid by the borrower over a period of up to 10 years at a maximum interest rate of 4%. Now, applying for this loan as a business person, if you're going to give me a loan at a maximum interest rate of 4%, I'm going to take it because I can make more than 4% on that money. The application process, loans in our Paycheck Protection Program made through lenders have been approved by the SBA. Applicants work directly with those lenders. SBA will guarantee those. They have an online tool that helps small business connect with SBA. We also have the disaster program and the emergency EIDL grants. So, get those in. I got to tell you, today we're working on this for a couple of clients. I mean, I'm in here on a Saturday for that reason. Why? Got stuff to do, man. It's business time. So, the question we're going to have to ask is where we're going to go forward. I mean, legally and business-wise, my firm is going to be fine. A lot of small businesses are going under as a result of this. Even with this program from the SBA, they're going to go under. They're not making it. We have unemployment that's through the roof at the moment. The economy doesn't turn on and off like you're flipping a switch. Getting those people back to work is going to be the process of months to years. It's got to gear back up. And provided the situation ended today, it's got to gear back up over the next 6 to 8 months. We have taken a significant hit. Will we come back? Yeah, of course. But I don't know if we're done taking the hits yet. I mean, they're talking about peak illnesses in April, maybe. And if that happens, great. But, we're still seeing some numbers that are outrageous that are in the, we're going to see a million deaths. And I truly hope not. Actually, let me see where we are in Missouri right now. Let's go ahead and check that. As of 22 minutes ago, according to the KC Star, we have 670 infections and the 10th person has died in the state of Missouri. So, look, it's the 28th. On March 5th, I think we had 5 cases in the state of Missouri. Now we've got 670. I don't exactly have high hopes that Missouri is going to be back to normal in 4 weeks. I think our numbers are going to keep climbing. People are going to be scared. This is going to be a longer term thing. I'm hoping in 2 to 3 months it'll tail off. But when you're flattening the curve, you're taking the peak and you're laying it out into time. That's the only way I can describe it. We're exchanging time for stress. System stress, not personal stress. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, that's a good thing because it's something that we wanted to keep our hospitals from being overwhelmed. But it also means we're going to be in this for a little bit longer. So, yeah, take advantage of the things the government's putting out. Realistically, there's no hope our government's ever going to repay the $26 trillion it owes. It can't. That loan is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States military. It's not backed by anything else. So, yeah. If you have questions about the SBA, talk in the SBA programs, the business, talk to your accountant, talk to your lawyer. Okay. Go to the SBA, talk to your banker. Your bankers may well know about this. They should be up on it. And understand that there are a lot of opportunities ahead of us right now. And we're almost at the 30-minute mark. I usually cut these off at 30 minutes. And while I do appreciate the people that have, been with us this time, we haven't had a large number of people. I don't know if the live things are something we're going to keep doing because we don't get a lot of people on them at once. We do get typically 150 to 200 views over time, but I don't know that that's a profitable choice time-wise for us. But as you can tell, look, we're doing this instead of the videos we were doing because my editor and my assistant are social distancing and can't come into the damn office. So instead of having the people that would be here to shoot the video that we prep and then they edit and we put up, we're doing these, and it feels kind of cheap at times, but because it doesn't have that same quality. I don't have a script on teleprompter right here in front of me. But anyway, so thank you for watching. I'm going to ask you to hit like and subscribe. Be good to each other out there. Understand that there are a lot of people that are absolutely terrified. If you're one of the people that's absolutely terrified, stay home. If you're not one of the people who's absolutely terrified, well, stay home. There's no benefit to going out and getting involved in things. There's no benefit in violating the social distancing for people who aren't concerned. However, there is every risk. And for the people that are concerned, you definitely should stay home as well because there's no benefit. Chris, thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to keep doing them. And I hope that we can share some information that helps people. But for this one, we are about to wind it up. Thank you all. And thank you for watching, Chris. We'll be talking to you again soon.